All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 23 of the Table Talk podcast. And man, oh man, do we have an episode for you today. We are officially live on Oz Media's YouTube page. We are going to have a fun one. And this is our officially, we all know it's February, so this is the beginning of Black History Month. And so the Table Talk crew, we decided that we wanted to focus on topics relating to or surrounding the Black community and for Black History Month. And so we have a 3-part series this week, next week, and the following week where we're going to have topics, again, discussing the things that are happening around the Black community. And so today's topic is Black woman empowerment. Our guest is our great friend, parent and child advocate and community activist Kcw Baybush is in the building. And we also have educator, high school history senior teacher, also debate teacher as well, which I just learned. So if we start debating in here, you know why, all right? We have Mrs. Suki Johal in the building as well today. So first of all, thank you ladies for being here. We are definitely looking forward to this conversation. Again, we are live on Oz Media's YouTube page. Feel free to comment. I have it right in front of me. You can also call in. The number is 313-306-1750. You can join us with this conversation. If you hear something and you want to comment on it, feel free to call. I got the phone right here next to me. And before we start the show, this amazing show that we have planned out for you, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Our 2 sponsors today is Give to Gain and Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak. I want to start off with Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak, located on 110 South Main Street, Royal Oak, Michigan. Their number is 1248-336-8093. They serve delicious American-style food, known for their conies, fried chicken gyro, breakfast, chili, and many much more. Leo's conies have been around for a very long time, but to me, the best Leo's of them all is the one in Royal Oak. Shout out to Ahmed Al-Halimi and everyone over there in Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak. Our second sponsor is Give to Gain. We'll get into them later on in the show. With that said, obviously, as you know, they got the co-host Big Sis in the building as well. She's getting closer and closer to my seat. She's trying to take over, Karen. She's trying to take over eventually. I saw her chair go from there to now here. So it's probably going to happen soon. But we're here to have some fun. I don't know why my brother just commented orange juice or apple juice. I don't know if that's like a joke that he wanted to crack with us or not, but he wanted to start off with the show with that. But
debate.
Oh, debate maybe because I said debate. Yeah, that's what it is.
Very clever.
By the way, I'm orange juice. Just want to throw that out there. I'm an orange juice. What are you?
I like both. It depends on what I'm eating with it.
That's true, but I'm still orange.
See how she went more critical.
Yeah, see, I'm extra. I can't. I'm very indecisive. I'm like,
Yeah. Are you orange juice or apple juice?
Apple juice.
Apple juice?
Apple.
Apple? Okay, so I guess I'm probably like the only orange juice here. Alright, so with that said, I know I formally introduced you, but maybe you ladies both can introduce yourselves a little more. Carol, we're going to start off with you, and then we'll go to Suki then next. So Carol, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Kcw Baybush, mother of the C Crew.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you. And what am I saying? I'm very compassionate when it comes to children, parenting, and just adults. Anybody who who talks to me on a regular knows that I'm compassionate. I probably get loud, or you would think some people take it as arguing or being mean or whatever, but it's not. It's just I'm compassionate. And I know I can't make others feel the way I feel, but at the end of the day, when you're talking about children, and we're supposed to be wanting the best for them. And when I say wanting the best, I mean even willing to do what you need to do to make sure that they're good. And if someone's doing something that they shouldn't be doing to them, you're supposed to step up and say something. The children don't know, So that's my issue right now. That's what I'm going through right now. Some may say, it's a hard fight, because you have policies and procedures and all that. And I get that. I do get that. But at the same time, I believe that without our parents, there's no children. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm fighting a battle right now, but I'm gonna win at the end.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Suki, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself as well a little more?
Okay. I am Suki Johal. I moved to Detroit in 2003. I started teaching at UPrep in 2006. I had the pleasure of meeting my my baby Casey, Carol's baby, in her 8th grade year, and we basically just stayed in touch. And then I got her back again when she came back to UPrep.
Mm-hmm.
So I too am a child advocate. I think, teaching, as you two know, that's what we do. That's what we're here for. Teaching is definitely my passion. I have an economics degree, so I was in finance as my first career, and then I switched to teaching. I am so much better as a teacher, as a human being, as a teacher than I was as a sales rep. So I also became an ambassador for the Teach 313 program. That was a couple of years ago, and like we said earlier, I'm the debate coach, and that's it, I think.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know, as soon as I told Carol about this, she mentioned your name immediately.
Okay.
She was like, I know the perfect person. And I was like, come on, bring her on board. And so I'm happy you were able to make it. So thank you very much for being here today. And as we mentioned to all of you, today's topic is about Black woman empowerment. It is Black History Month. I'm the type of person, I don't like that it's just 1 month that we sit here and we celebrate it. But at the end of the day, this is what February is known for. So we said, you know what? Let's focus on it at the end of the day, and we can definitely have this conversation. And I wanted to focus on women. I wanted to focus on women to start it off because I think that's very important. I think that, I'm the type of person that knows the mama is the key to the household, right? We believe, it's mother, then father, right? We love the mother so much that we put them 3 times almost as important as the father in a way. So wanted to definitely shed light on that. So the first question is, someone has had to inspire you, right? So who are some of the most inspiring Black women in your life that you've ever come across or read about? And this time I might want to start off with you, Suki.
Okay.
So who are some of the most, if it's more than one or just one, inspiring Black women in your life that you've come across or that you read about?
Okay, aside from Carol.
Yes. That's part of the question, aside
Right.
from Carol.
When I first moved to Detroit, I had an advisor at Wayne State. Her name's Sharon Sellers Clark. Rest in peace, Sharon. She just actually passed last month. But she was so inviting, so just smart in the way that she moved. And I worked with her at Wayne State for a little bit. And she just kind of she was very eager to show me the ropes and, kind of navigate me through how education works here in Michigan. And she was just so compassionate to her students at Wayne State. And she was just a great person, just in general. She loved her family. And she was definitely one of the most inspiring women to me. The other person I thought of was an author, Angela Davis. Not just an author, social activist, educator, academic, everything. Member of the Communist Party. And she did a lot of work along with the Black Panthers and other people as well. But anyway, she's just a major player in the social justice game, and she's also a very inspiring woman.
All right, Abby, did you have an answer for this one in the top of your head? Do you know?
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, overall, every single one of my Black friends or colleagues or whatever, like she was saying, they want you to win. They're always willing to show you the ropes. If they went through it, they want to show you how to avoid that and find it easier. You know what I'm saying? They want you to do as good as that they're doing. Every one of my friends is okay, so what are you gonna do next? Or they're solution orientated, focus driven, and I'll never forget. Remember when we had that one sit down, and then Deja, we were all talking about just women in business, and then Deja was like, African American woman, Black woman, we survive. We don't just live. We have to survive. You know what I'm saying? We have no other choice. So we are, we're going to do what we got to do to survive, and then that stuck with me more than anything because I feel like, honestly, one of the strongest females out there. You know what I'm saying? But to talk about someone that kind of inspires me, Michelle Obama. her husband was president, but she was her own leader. She did her own thing. She did not just sit beside him and look pretty.
Right.
She did her thing, and she's still doing her thing. And honestly, you know, and Oprah, I'm not gonna lie, I love Oprah. I wish, like, you don't understand how much I want to meet her and like be on her show, but you know, it's a whole other story. But definitely, yeah, I would say that.
Yep, I like that. I'm gonna share my answer before I dish to you, Carol, because I want to hear your answer. Because like we both, you know, we all mentioned, you're definitely an inspiring woman to us, for sure. For me, I like Deja. I forgot about Deja. Deja, for sure, she's out there doing her thing. But for me was my former principal at Hanley, and it's Kuhani Njiku.
And Gardner.
And Gardner, to be honest with you. She just met up with Gardner. But
Mentor.
both of them, very great people. But Miss Njiku, you know, she was the person that anytime I needed a conversation, and this was aside from work, I would go to her, and we would talk, and you know, she would know that I probably have a class, and so she'll try to like get it in as much as we can, say what we have to say. That's why whenever I go to her office, I make sure I got at least 10 minutes because I knew we was going to be talking. And so, you know, she's somebody, I mean, she doesn't work there anymore, and we love the admin that are there right now too, but you know, she was definitely somebody that definitely helped out with the advice and, you know...
And pushed you to grow.
Pushed me to grow.
That's what I wanted to say. Like, they really do push you to grow.
Like, she's the one that says, I can see a leader in you. You know, I thought I was just a normal... And that was when I first went in there. Like, the first week, she was like, I see a leader in you. And I'm just like, you know, I'm just trying to work, you know? Like, but she wanted me to, you know, pursue my master's degree in leadership and try to go about that. So... You know, Miss Njiku, shout out to Miss Njiku. I don't know if she's going to end up hearing this or not. Maybe I should send it to her. But seriously, she's awesome. And I really appreciate every second because we don't really, you know, saying thank you sometimes. You know, we tell them that. But they don't know how much we actually really appreciate it sometimes. And I think it's important to give them those shout outs. So I really do appreciate all the conversations we've had about life. So definitely that's my someone that I look up to. Definitely a black woman that I definitely look up to in my life. So how about you, Carol?
Okay, so I have 3. 2 of them. Okay, so the first one is, her name is Ada Simpson. Rest in peace. She's not here anymore. She's my cousin's grandmother. So Miss Simpson was the type of person for me. Like, in my eyes, I've never seen her not be positive. It doesn't matter what was happening, what was going on, even when sometimes the house got, you know, chaotic or whatever, you know, a family function, somebody started arguing, all that. She would raise her voice and everybody would get silent. And it wasn't like a raise of voice like how I would raise my voice. It's just she had this, her voice was just soft anyway. So if it got louder than that soft tone, you knew like, okay, wait a minute, you know.
Yeah.
But she was very positive all the time. She always said really positive things to you. She made you believe that you could do anything.
I love that.
You know, and she's a mom. You know, she's a mom. She had a bunch of children, a bunch of grandkids, but she was always positive. Always. Even when, you know, when I got older. You know, as a kid, that's how I remember her. As a young adult, and then as an adult, she was always the same. You know, Miss Scott was a teacher at my high school. Similar. She was kind of the same. You know, and working in a school with high school students and with your colleagues and all types of stuff going on, she was always soft-spoken and positive. She was about family. She made you believe that you could do anything that you wanted to do.
It's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah. So the last person, and those 2 are black. I have one that's not black. I'm sorry, but her name is Cindy Eggleston. She's actually the CEO of the company that I work for, Brilliant Detroit. Amazing. Like she's the same thing with them, but it's sometimes when you meet someone that's not black, like for me, she can identify with what my culture go through because she went through it. You know, she went through it. Her family you know, sometimes we look at our other races and think they don't go through what we go through. You know, we just the ones. Right. You know that hits poverty and all that. No, she'll tell her story. And the way she treats you, same thing, always positive, always positive. I've known her since 2013, maybe. Always positive. you know, and now that I know her really good, really well now, I mean, she's just the same. Always trying to help, always pushing you to be great, always telling you can do whatever you want to be whoever you want to be, and do whatever you want to do. Awesome. Like, just anytime I need like a pep talk, I will call her or, you know, text her, you know. Doesn't matter. She's always available. And not just to me. This is just who she is, you know. So, yeah. So those are my 3.
Definitely. I love that. And I'm just going to go ahead and give all those people a round of applause right here. I mean, it's not me, actually. It's the crowd. The crowd wants to give them a round of applause. So I just want to make sure that, you know, that they're appreciated. So I'm happy we were all able to share that because, like I said, you know, we kind of try to tell these people as much as we can. But, you know, emphasizing it is important as well. So Mrs. Suki, basically, I don't know.
It's
Johal.
Miss. Yeah, Miss.
Miss Suki Johal, okay? As an educator, how do you empower young black women in the classroom?
Okay. So I'm Indo-Canadian.
Okay.
My family's Indian. I was born in Canada. So I don't have the black experience. I definitely do not. However, championing a child, especially in the city of Detroit, it really takes a lot of love and a lot of passion and a lot of patience and a lot of grace. My children are amazing. It's really just showing them who they are. Because they're already amazing. They're already wonderful. I do my best to be their champion, to be their cheerleader. You know, you meet kids and they're all different from each other, and you have to take them on as a human being. And really, I think that is, I feel like they know that. If you give them mutual respect as another human being, you know, kids feed off that. Kids understand that. I allow them the dignity to be themselves, you know, whoever they are. And I think I give them like a safe space to talk. I think just kind of like being a cheerleader for our kids. You know, going to the girls' basketball games. You know, I lose my voice because I'm, you know, like everybody goes to the boys' games. Shout out to our boys too, but you know, everybody goes to the boys' games and the girl games. You know, the boys' games get the DJ and the lights and the whatever. So I cheer my heart out. Volleyball, basketball, whatever our girls are doing. So I think just being their champion and allowing them to, like I said, be who they are. I think that gives them a safe space to bloom, to blossom, because then they get to look up.
I love how you said be who they are. You know, you're just highlighting it because that's really who they are. They just need that person to push them and motivate them. So I love that. And then going to you, Carol, as a parent, child advocate, community activist, person that's always around doing great things in the community, you know, how do you empower young black women?
So I'm similar to Miss Johal. I've always been one to say be you. I tell my kids that all the time. A person respects you when you are who you are. Right now, with so much going on in our world, cruel, motivating the children to be confident in themselves is what I try to do. You know, I want to be a Miss Simpson, a Miss Scott, a Miss Eggleston. I want them to say when I'm no longer here, or, you know, say the same thing about me. You know, being respectful, respecting them. Like I now currently I'm coming into so many adults who don't respect children, and I think they don't have to.
That's an old thought.
Yeah, that's an old thought. You know, I know we did come up a certain kind of way, you know, do as you told and all that time. Yeah, I get that too. But it's a different time. It's just different now. You know, because back there our parents but our parents parent different than we do. Yes. And I think I'm an amazing parent, but I know I parent different than my parents.
You are an amazing parent.
But
you're breaking that generational.
Yeah. And what I do, and I've always done with my children and in other kids I come in contact with, is they have a voice. You know, when I was a kid, no, you don't talk. What? No, speak when spoken to. You know, you just didn't advocate for yourself. Which to me, I found out that's why our children are not vocal. How you want them to get up and speak for themselves and all that now, but as a kid, I was taught be quiet. You know, no. So with my children and other kids, I talk to them. I be really honest with them. I tell them to be you. Be you. People respect you. You know, I give them respect. You know, I just feel like when you do those things, I mean, how could they not respect you in return? How could they not love you in return? You know, I come from love. I come from love. Even though there was times we may have been struggling, I come from love. Love is what I know, you know. So I try, especially now, even after losing Casey, like I try to be loving. You know, I'm a firecracker. Don't get me wrong, I can pop off, but I try to. It's all from love. It's all from my heart, you know. So sometimes I might even, when I fuss at my kids, you know, it's all because I know they can do better. I'm going to push them to do better, and because I love them. Like, come on, I wouldn't tell you anything wrong, you know. So, that and building relationships. The best way to get anybody, not just a child, but a person has to trust you.
100%.
You know, so you have to build a relationship. You build a bond, you build a relationship, you're consistent, they're going to trust you. You know, all that coming in and out when you feel like it, okay, they're looking at you a certain kind of way, you know, so they're going to trust you, they're going to respect you. I mean, everything goes to flow, you know.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, I'm going to let you go ahead go too. I was going to just say the trust factor. You know, being able to coach and teach black women and just any student realistically, but, you know, they have to trust you. Mm-hmm. So you can sit there and talk the talk as much as you want, but they have to trust you. They need to see it. They need to believe it. They need to see it first before they can believe it. They need maybe see it a couple more times because of the fact that, you know, it's easy for anybody in your life to sit there and try to say things that you want to hear. But to actually, for people to actually respect you and understand you, they have to first trust you. And then that's what it is. Like, I focus on that, focus on showing them that, hey, you know, this is what I'm about. You know, if you don't believe it, it's okay. You'll learn eventually over time. You know, it's probably not going to happen today. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow. But, you know, eventually over time you're going to learn that. And it comes with trust. How about you?
Yeah, if the students don't believe that you care for them or that you believe in them or that you have a bond with them, they will not learn from you.
Right.
You cannot, you know, get to them in any way if they don't have that bond with you. I have first graders, so, you know, they're little babies. Yeah. You know, they're so innocent. You know, all of them are so innocent. You don't know where they're coming from or what family, like how their family works or whatever. But I feel like as a teacher, it is our job to make every single person in your seats feel like they're important.
Absolutely.
Feel like that they are worth it, that they can do whatever they want to do. I recently this year I started doing affirmations where you know, we'll do like a workout and then they get into a hookup and they close their eyes and I'm just feeding them affirmations. You guys are important. You can believe in every, you know, you can do whatever you can do. I care about you. Your family cares about you. You know, we're a family in this classroom. We're here for one another. We're going to be kind to each other, you know? And it's crazy because, like, I recently asked them, like, how do you feel when I say that to you guys? And, like, one of my females said, she said, I feel like I'm in the clouds. Aww. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing something right. And it's just very, because like you said, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they have at home. To give them that safe, secure place where they can actually show their potential is important for all the students, you know? So I'm definitely, and I don't know if this is part of this question or not, but our job to teach Black history. Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's 100% our job as teachers to teach Black history because there's a lot of families don't know. And there's a lot on TV that is not true. Right. And we need to teach cultural appropriation. And we need the students to understand the contributions that the African Americans gave to us in this world and what they've been through and how that can never happen. And that, honestly, racism still exists, but hopefully in the generations to come, with our help as teachers, we can teach them to eventually demolish it in that way. So
I love it. I love it. And before moving on to the next question, I'm loving where this conversation is going. There's two things that I want. Okay, so first of all, Carol, can I get that paper towel? I just want to make sure that as people are, I'm over here looking at it, I was like, all right. And then can you scoot over just a little bit towards my sister as well? I just want to make sure that you're also in the best angle possible, because I'm loving where this conversation is going. I'm loving where this conversation is going, and I just want it to be right. So, in today's America, are black women treated differently than other women from different races? And I want you to answer this one, Carol. Starting off with you. And this is a conversation. Say what you got to say, because I want it to be said. Because like I told you, I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn, and I hope people that are watching are going to learn. And these are very important conversations, and I love having these conversations because that's the only way we can grow, right? That's the only way we can grow. So, you know, do you feel like black women are treated differently than other women from different races?
I do. I believe this is huge. So I believe it's a culture thing though. Ooh. So first off, I don't think that a lot of black women understands how powerful they are. They are themselves.
Yeah.
We take on so much. We do so much. We don't kind of respect ourselves enough, which tie into we allow others to mistreat us, you know, even our males, you know. I believe that if we didn't allow so much, if we believed in ourselves, we knew how powerful we were, we wouldn't take so much from others. Others meaning everybody, you know. I think we've been trained to put everybody else, though, in front of us as a kid. You know, I remember coming up seeing my grandmother do everything and, you know, take care of the men. And, you know, I just think we were programmed wrong, you know. I think that type of stuff should happen, but I also think that it should be a mutual. Like, just like you see women taking care of the husbands and all that, you should also see the husbands taking care of the moms and, the, you know, things like that. So I think that culturally it's a disconnect, and it started when we were kids. You know, I just think that's what it is. And that's just within ourselves. So if we don't respect ourselves and treat ourselves good, how are you going to expect the next race to treat you better? You know? So I just think that's just me. That's just how my thought with it. We don't trust each other. We're powerful. Like the African American culture is powerful. There's a lot of things that can't be done without us, but we don't believe that. We'll never stick together enough to make something shake. I wish we would. I want us to, you know, but that I think it's just something that started way back, probably even, you know, with slavery. Like, it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, definitely, most definitely, they're treated differently. Most definitely. And it's a persona of, you know, black women has attitudes and, you know, all that, you know, uneducated, and, you know, it's just a whole, this can go on all night. I mean, you know,
yeah,
talking about that.
And I do want to get into that because you kind of touched on, you kind of were holding yourselves accountable. But I want to hear, how do you feel about how they're treated from even other races and other cultures? Like, how do you at least view it? How do you at least view it?
So, my take is, so mentally, I have to prepare. Like, depending on when I'm going certain places, even like in being in Hamtramck. Like, being in Hamtramck, I remember when we first moved there, it's like they just didn't respect us, especially the women. The men don't anyways, but they don't really talk to women, our race women. Then they didn't. They probably do not. I don't know. But the women were just like, they were bumping to us. They wouldn't say, excuse me. It was weird. But you just have to teach people how to treat you, you know. And then your mental has to be together too, because you can't go in there with the attitude and, you know, just like, okay, wait, she bumped me today. She bumped me yesterday. Like, maybe she don't know she bumped me, or maybe she doesn't notice. You're supposed to say, excuse me, you know. So it's the approach, you know. So for me, the approach I take when entering certain places or whatever is what helps me. Again, I believe you teach people how to treat you. And that's just me, though. I teach my girls that too. I teach my girls the same thing. But also, I don't teach them that it's a race issue, because I don't want them to think that. It's the approach. I don't care what color you are. If you go in there and you speak like you have some sense, you carrying yourself like you have some sense, you acting like a lady, what they gonna do? They gonna treat you
like a lady.
So that's the thing. It's all mental. It's mental.
I love it. I love the answer. Did you want to touch on this answer as well? In today's America, do you feel like black women are treated differently than other women from different races?
So you're talking to history teacher, right?
Yeah.
So I can't, obviously, I'm Indo-Canadian, I'm not black woman. However, just if you take a look at the numbers, first of all, black women are not a homogeneous group. Not everybody's the same and whatnot. So I think we, just so we understand that. But when you look at how black women are treated in the media, take it back to when people were marching to vote. They made Ida B. Wells go to the back of the line. Like, what's her name? Susan B. Anthony didn't even want to be around her. Like, so you can take it back. You could take it back to slavery. You had mentioned that, Carol. People had their whole identity stripped away. Their culture, their language, their food, their everything, their families, their everything. So all of a sudden you have a large group of people that you can now do stuff to, because who's gonna care? Who's gonna do anything? And that kind of lived on through the system, right? They built the system, so that carried on with the system. Younger black girls get sexualized way more than other race of girls. Like, nobody looks at a 10-year-old Indian girl like, ooh, whatever, but they'll sexualize a black girl. The Black Panthers, even, 60% of the people in the Black Panthers were women. But when you see people of the Black Panther Party, they always show the men. Bring it till recent when what's his face, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. People don't believe her. Why would she lie about? And then people called her a snitch and all this other stuff. I don't know if I got shot in the foot. I'm telling.
Yeah.
Just letting anybody know that I want to shoot me in the foot. So it's a lot. It's it's constant. It's constant. And then women being gaslighted, oh, you're just saying that, or nobody wants to listen. Real talk, at the end of the day, if you really want to know what black women want to know, just shut up and listen. Don't male center it. Don't white center it. It's not about you. If you're going to ask somebody a question, ask them a question. So anyways, yeah, I can go on and on and on, but...
Definitely. Did you want to touch on this question as well?
I feel 100%. We all know that. It's not something that we're blind to. A lot of people are ignorant. They don't understand. They pre-label people and they make people look a certain way because they watched the movie and that one person was that way, so they think everybody's like that. It all comes from educating people. Being the person that you are and being respectful in that way or whatever, showing people how you want to be treated, like you said. And for everyone to educate themselves and stop pre-labeling people. And I feel like the black women, are the most pre-labeled.
For sure.
And,
Yeah, that
sorry.
is, and we recently, and I'm happy you mentioned Hamtramck, right? Because Hamtramck has had a couple situations where, you sit there and you be like, I love Hamtramck, and it's, growing and it's getting better with diversity and kind of understanding one another. But, we definitely had our growing pains and still going through them. So, we had recently the Etsy Queen lady who opened up her spa in Hamtramck, and who was a black woman, and when she opened it up, there was a lot of hate and coming towards her.
Oh wow.
And so that's why my first instinct was I gotta reach out to her, because I listened to the zoning board meeting, and there was some cool lines in there, and again, this is ignorance. It's ignorance, right? Because they had this idea in their head, and the lady just opened up, and immediately this idea, you know,
Pre-labeled.
yeah, and they think that they're not saying anything wrong, but what they don't know is that the words that they're choosing is showing their true colors.
All racist.
And all, yeah, and so I ain't gonna lie, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, man, and it's, you know, coming from, I'm not gonna say they're all Yemeni, but I know they're Muslim because I know just from the voices and the people that live on the block.
Right.
So I'm like, man, this is a bad look on everybody that's like that, right? And so I wanted to reach out, and so we ended up having like this huge conversation, and it was great, and she ended up getting what she needed, and it was, I felt amazing, and I wanted to show her that like not everybody is like that. Like there is growth in some aspect of it, right? Not that I'm saying that those people changed that had those comments, but not everybody is like that. But that was just one example that showed, and you know, well, you see it even in the school system, you know, sadly.
I wanted to say something too. You know how you were saying like people bumping into you and not knowing, like just being rude in that aspect. I had a parent, and you know, from you know my race, snap their finger at me to get my attention. Yes, and I was like, do you know that is so disrespectful? I was like, if you did that to anybody else, like I'm trying to teach you not to do that again.
Right.
But that calls for, you know, a lot more than me talking to you right now. You know what I'm saying? So it comes, and she's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, you don't do that. And it comes from being
kids, right? Don't do that.
Uneducated and
not
ignorant.
knowing. Yeah, and I think that's what it was. That's what it was. I remember when we first moved to Hampshire, and they would walk past and not speak, and you know, it's like, okay, and I was speaking like, hey, how you doing? You know, but before we left, like I had a lot of Yemeni and Arabic, now I'm gonna say friends, but they spoke, they knew who we were, because their kids always wanted to play with my kids, like, you know, but yeah.
I feel like the next generation, hopefully, I'm hoping that it'll be better.
I'm hoping.
You know what I'm saying? Because it could only go up from this, because this is ridiculous. Like,
You gonna say something?
I was about to say, so when I moved to Detroit, I learned about Dearborn, and I learned about like this area's like large Middle Eastern population, and people mistake me for Lebanese and stuff like that all the time, which was weird. In Toronto, that never happened, but here it happens all the time. This is beautiful old lady, like somebody's grandma, just beautiful, started talking to me in Lebanese, I assume, and I just was not understanding her at all. So I was trying to explain to her, like, no, I speak Punjabi, I'm Indian, you know. Anyways, so these other girls come close to me and they start talking, and they started talking about, I guess the other girl they were with, I don't know if they were with her or whatever. Anyways, they asked her if she was Yemeni. And she said yes, and the looks on their faces, it was so much like prejudice towards her. Yeah. And I was like, y'all look the same. Like, I know you're not the same.
No, there's prejudice in like...
But you had mentioned that it was like Yemeni people showing prejudice towards, you know, black people or whatever. Like, it's how do they not make the connection like people do to you?
100%. And that's what drives me crazy is because... we're in a way dealing with it because we're considered like the low Yemeni. You know, Yemeni people are considered like, hey, y'all.
I did not know that until I came here, and I was like,
in Hamtramck it's mostly Yemeni.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a lot of Lebanese or Palestinian or
not anymore.
And but when you come to Dearborn, like when a lot of people tell me like, you're Yemeni, and I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with me being Yemeni? Like they give you that kind of like you know looking down on you and stuff like that. But,
and that's why it bothers me when Yemeni people do that. It's like, dude, like, why are you acting like this? And, you know, darn well, we're dealing with it, too.
I just want to put on the table as our religion, like Islam in itself, the religion, that's a huge sin to look at any color in any way or to make someone feel lesser than you. That's, like, one of our biggest sins. And the fact that they call themselves Muslim and still do it, that you know, that's the part that I don't
And another conversation for another day is how we treat Black Muslim people as well, because even they, as you're saying, Carol, like if they were to walk in a mosque, I'm not saying all of them. Again, I don't want to generalize, but if you were to talk to them, if they were to walk in a mosque that was majority, you know, Yemeni or whatever, Arabic, any kind of Arabic, they, you know, if you talk to them, someone will say like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like I feel uncomfortable, even though we're there for the same reason, right? So that's another conversation for another day, but definitely something that to think about. But like I was saying, I think you can also see in the school system with black women how they are treated as well, and that's why as teachers it's very important for us to try to make sure that we don't allow that to happen, and so wanted to share that as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the times teachers or whatever would feel like a African American female or male can take more, that don't need that compassion, don't need that attention, or they feel like that they're strong, or they'll figure it out, or they'll, and that's not fair either.
Yeah, definitely. Did anybody else want to touch on that question right there, or we can go ahead and move on to the next one, which is this is a story. It's supposed to be story time, Carol. All right, so we're gonna have to hear a story if in a situation where you felt like you had to overcome a discrimination / an obstacle as a black woman that made you who you are today. So, is there a story that you have for us? A moment?
Not personally for me. The only thing I've really experienced is, the name calling, maybe like in a car and somebody drive past, say something stupid, put their middle finger up or something like that. But my children, when we moved to Hamtramck, for Chauncey, Carly too. Carly, I don't remember the ages, but they were young. And they didn't like the fact that they were speaking Arabic because they knew how to speak English too. Chauncey had it. I mean, it was tough. It was real tough. Like, I don't want to go to that school, and for me, it's like my kids like everybody. Like, they get along with everybody, okay, like, goodness, what I'm going to do? And Carly had an issue in her class, and she was young. I think Carly was definitely in kindergarten when we got over there, I think. Did Carly go to kindergarten? I don't remember. But Carly had an issue, and I think one of them, I don't know if they didn't call her black. I don't know if it was night or something. They called her something. And that's when I went up to Hanley. And I think that was the first time they learned who I was, besides signing them up for school, because everywhere I go, you're going to know me. I'm going to make sure you know me. But that was the first incident. And when I spoke to the principal, I'm like, why would a kid not speak English if English is the language you're supposed to speak? You know what I'm saying? Like, because when they start talking Arabic, Chauncey feels a certain kind of way. Like, they're talking, because he don't understand what they're saying, So then it changed. It did change, but it was tough. Like, I'm saying maybe like a month or so tough, where I'm like, okay, wait, am I going to have to change their school? Or I'm about to teach them how to be mean back? That was the thing, like, but it stopped. I don't know if it was the conversations at the school or whatever the school was, I know that I saw something they sent home saying that, you need to, English is the language spoken and all that type of stuff or whatever. And then once they found out that Chauncey was an athlete, like, it was just like, oh, wow. Like, this kid, when they found out that he was good, it was just like, oh, no, wait, so it went from that, so, but that's still like yeah. It's like, oh, okay, so, okay. But, I know before right. It's just that mentality, but I remember them saying, even up until Carly just asked me recently, they wanted to learn Arabic. Like, they wanted to learn the actual language. And I brought it up at Hanley because they was teaching English as a second language in the school, so why not teach Arabic to the other, But of course, that's one of the reasons. Like, we left Hanley for a lot of different reasons, but that was one of them. It was just, when I felt like, okay, you know what, this gonna get out of control, that's why we left. Like, no, because they gonna see a whole different side of me, and they don't know the support I bring, and it's gonna be ugly. So, yeah.
Definitely. Have you heard a story from any of your students that maybe they shared with you, something that they went through or witnessed, or that you heard or maybe helped someone?
off the top of my head, I can't think of anything
Okay.
like that.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to make sure if anybody else wanted to share something that they heard something or anything or witnessed something or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I've noticed a lot of kids get mad when other students talk in a different language around them, and that's 100% disrespectful. Like, if they don't understand it, why would you say that? For me, like, whenever, I know it's probably off topic, but whenever our family is very multicultural. You know, we have a lot of family members that are not Arabic, you know, so when they come over, you have to make an effort to not talk in Arabic around them.
Right.
That's disrespectful. It's rude. They feel uncomfortable. And like you said before, it's an English school. So yeah, I've had that situation happen to me a lot where a student come up, they're talking in Arabic and we don't know what they're talking about. And I think they're cussing at me, or I think, you know, and then I'm like, you're going to get in trouble because at the end of the day, they can't tell me what you said because
Right.
they don't speak the language. And I'm just going to assume it's something bad because why would you talk in a different language?
Right.
You know? So a lot of that, honestly.
And again, this is a part of the adults, right? We have to be the ones that don't allow this to happen, and that's
Absolutely.
the problem.
Absolutely.
Anytime that has ever happened on a team or as a teacher, I make sure I get straight into it. Like, there's a student that will talk to me in Arabic in a response. I don't even care if it's not something bad. I would say, you know, speak in English. This is an English school, and plus, not everybody in this classroom is Arabic. All right, and so therefore, I think that's what it's important. I think it's just making sure that stuff doesn't happen, and making sure that you are mentioning something, because at the end of the day, it's making someone uncomfortable, right? It's definitely making somebody uncomfortable. They might not say it, they might be quiet about it, but you know, put yourself in their shoes, and if you're in that situation, you'd feel very uncomfortable that this conversation is happening and you don't understand not one bit of it. So. I think it's everybody's job to make sure that they, make sure that they address it as soon as something like that happening. Okay, so, we talked about a lot of different things, and I want to give advice, right? I want to give advice for people out there, especially, I guess we could stick with black women that may, listen to this podcast now or later. Basically, what is your final advice that you would want to give a young black woman? Anything. And I'm going to start off with you, Mrs. Johal.
Okay, Johal.
Johal.
Okay,
Can't read my own handwriting.
That's all right. So I have a few things, and then I actually have something that I wanted to share. Casey was part of a group at UPrep called Empower You. And we were all reading from this book. Humble the Poet is the author, and his book is called Unlearn. And so we were reading from this. And at first it was kind of like we went chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. They're really short chapters, it's just, it was just like we were just talked. But one of the ones that I started letting the kids pick, so one of the girls picked, and it's made me think of Casey. And just a few notes that I took from it. So pain comes from living in the past, and the past doesn't exist anymore. You'll heal at a natural pace, so don't numb the pain. Focus, so Casey was big on this. It's going to feel like her to you, I feel like. Focus on the relationship with yourself and what I need to do that is best for me. And then let the healing take its course. If you knew Casey, she was the kid, that makes you feel like, oh, I need to do better. Like, I need to do better about myself. She always did the right thing. When kids are away from their parents, it's different. I get the kids all day long. Casey was the I gotta do the right thing kid all the time. And like I said, I knew her since she was in the 8th grade, and I had her up until her senior year. And then, we kept in touch. If you go on my Instagram, you see her little video clowning me, making fun of me, like kids do their moms. But I feel like that felt like a lot.
Yeah, so that to me. But yeah.
So I had to share that. So my advice for young black women: you are powerful, and you are powerful on your own, but even more powerful as a collective group. If you don't know, black women literally elected Joe Biden Shout out to Stacey Abrams. Clearly, I'm political if you can't tell. Do not be afraid to ask for what you want. Young black women should never be afraid to ask for what they want. And go to Congress. Make some laws. This is my dream in life. I want my kids to go to Congress. Make some laws that benefit you and your community. As women, we always think of the greater good. So you can really make a difference, like if you were sitting in a place, in a government position where you could like really do something, or at least vote for the people that will. Vote for the people that will. Just know how powerful you are, because you are.
I love it. That definitely going to get a round of applause. That was beautiful. From the coach to the response as well. I don't know if you had something ready. I don't know. Did you have something?
I can say
Go ahead.
Something real short. You are beautiful. You guys are leaders. You're role models. Just believe in yourself. Know your worth. And keep, being you. Don't feel like you have to fold under anyone's expectations of you. The sky is the limit. Follow your dreams, and basically.
Definitely. I just want to quickly say before I pass it on to Carol is I think we can all agree black women are for sure top 3 in terms of having to deal with the most when whatever the world brings to them. So to me, Suki brought up the word powerful. I don't know if you know how powerful you are. Mm-hmm. You have been through so much trials and tribulations, and to use that as a positive, you don't know where you can go in life. You don't know what heights you can reach. I promise you, if you can find a way to use anything that has happened in your life, this goes for any woman, but we're talking about black women. If you can use that, because I sincerely believe that when women know how powerful they are, to me, they're stronger than any man that's walking this earth. Okay? Because men, at the end of the day, we have a mindset and we stick with it. Women are a little more open-minded than us men. Let's keep it real.
For sure.
So if that's the case, when you are dealing with a lot and a lot of stuff is thrown your way, if you can somehow learn how to cope with that and deal with that and take that with you, you are easily one of the most, if not the most powerful woman in the world. So I just want to make sure I mention that. Go ahead.
Turning lemons into lemonade.
Yes, turning lemons into lemonade for sure. That is definitely my quote for black women. So that is what I have. Carol, what is your quote that you want to say to anyone out there that might be listening?
Okay, I have a few. Okay, so be you. Bet on yourself. Stay focused. Be the change. And know that without you, the world can't survive. Without black women, the world can't survive. Period.
I love it. I really do. I really appreciate you ladies. And so this is the time. And actually, before I do that, I want to give a shout out to the second sponsor. Then we can go into any final closing statements, any final remarks that we want to make. Maybe something that I forgot to ask myself. So the second sponsor today is actually a nonprofit called Give to Gain. Give to Gain is a nonprofit organization that sponsors orphans in Yemen. 100% of all their donations goes to the less fortunate. People wonder why Yemen is the largest humanitarian crisis and aid operation. 5 million people are at risk of famine. 15 million people need water, sanitation support. So if you did want to donate, you can Venmo at Give, the number 2 Gain. Zelle 313-445-8638. And the Cash App is the money symbol, Give, the number 2 Gain. Before we do with the closing statements, I know that you're part of a foundation as well. I believe it is Kcw Foundation. Do you want to mention that and how people can donate to that as well?
Yeah, it's the Kcw Foundation. And we're on Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, same thing, Kcw Foundation.
And what about that foundation? Like, what exactly does it focus on?
So it stands for something. So Kcw, which is her name, stands for Creating Accountability, Strengthening Every Young Woman.
Oh my God.
So we're still I was just thinking about it earlier, like, oh my God, I haven't done anything. I was on the road for a minute. But we're gonna touch with these young ladies, ages 9 to 23. That's the focus, but I know with touching the young women, I have to touch moms, and that's the goal. Like, we got to get our parents involved. Most of our children, some of them don't know just because they've never been taught, but they've never been taught because some moms don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is to reach families, through the young lady, the mom, and then it should transfer over to the young men. At some point down the line, my hopes is to have also a male partnership with, another organization that focuses more on men. I don't know what it's like to be a man, but I have some great men in my life, so that's the goal. So we can change this whole trajectory of our African American culture.
I love it. So any final words, any closing statements that you want to make that maybe I forgot to ask?
I just want to say something to Ms. Johal. I want it to be known how much she fights for the children, the African American children at UPrep. That's what really drove me to come in. Casey would come home every day and talk about this one teacher, and this day she came and said, Mama, do you know they trying to get on Miss Johal for teaching us about Black history or something? Something about she didn't follow the curriculum that she's supposed to be following, that she's teaching them something different. So me, like I was really, back then when I was probably in a bad space and everything, I'm like, oh, I'm going up there tomorrow. Like, who they think they are, But seriously, and I went up there, and that's how I met Miss Johal, and just from there, like, for me, I'm a mom, I'm compassionate about my children. So to know that there's somebody in the school that really care about them, because I come up, you couldn't tell me that my teachers didn't care about me. When I come through kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, all the way through high school, like the teachers that I see now that's teaching my children, okay, there's not many. I knew all of my children, my teachers cared about me. And I didn't have all Black teachers. I had a white teacher. I had different types of teachers, but I knew they cared about me because they showed me that they cared about me. They treated me like that. It's different now. So for her to come home and talk about this teacher all the time, but then this one day, how the school gonna go against her for trying to teach them something about themselves? Like, what? Okay, I'll be up there. But that's for me, and it's not just then. Like, she always advocating for the African American children. Like, that's huge. That's huge. And I don't think, I know, like she say all the time, I go to work, not to make friends. She on their ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's what needs to happen. Other teachers in the school, like I'm a big advocate right now for, let's expose those who's doing the wrong thing. Flat out. The only way change gonna come. There's no way you're in the school and you know that they're doing, or the school, your colleagues doing something wrong to these children, like not teaching, and you're not saying anything. How? These are our kids.
Our future.
That's who she is at UPrep. And we need more teachers like that. When I come up, all my teachers, it was quite, when I got to high school, maybe there was a few that didn't really care, because I'm going to say that's called not caring.
100%.
That's what it's called. Regardless, they come in there to get a paycheck. Flat out, you come in to get your check because you need to feed your family. I get it. But if you're not teaching our children, you need to find something else to do.
100%. It's our due diligence
yes.
as teachers. That's not the job for you.
Yeah. And I'm going to say right now, it's I can count on my fingers. And I have 6 children. I could count on my fingers how many teachers, and I might not even use them all. Out of the 6, 3 of them has graduated high school. Actually 4, trying to say we graduating in June. That I could say that they had great teachers that genuinely care about them. That's horrible.
That's sad.
That's horrible. Horrible.
That deserves a round of applause as well. Did you want any final closing remarks, final closing statement?
I was not expecting you to say it.
It's the truth.
Appreciate that. Thank you for giving us the opportunity And really, truly, it is so important to empower our children. Like, it makes such a big difference. It really does.
Mhm.
That's it.
Do you have anything you want to add on or finish off with?
I thought we need to do better. Like, if we want change, we gotta do better. We gotta be the change.
Be the change.
You know, and yeah, let's start from today and teach who we can reach, and hopefully wish for a better future.
Yeah, I love this conversation. I feel like we're just cracking the beginning part of it, right? We didn't really I wanted to go deep, but I know this was the beginning conversation, the first conversation. So, you know, this is something that we can definitely expand on in the future, get into it even deeper, and because, you know, having a conversation is the first step, right? Learning, you know, passing, educating somebody, and then, all right, what are you going to do next, right? And I guess what I'm taking out of this is, like you said, basically, is call it out when you see it, and, you know, say something. Say something or do something about it, because it's important. I mean, and we have to be able to do that because this is everybody's future, these kids' future, our future, because they're going to be the ones that's going to be running the world, and we're going to have to rely on them to keep it going. So, you know, we're all on the same team, right? We're all on the same team, no matter what, the color of your skin, what you follow, and everything like that. At the end of the day, we all live on this planet, and we all should be there for one another. So, again, I appreciate you ladies coming here today. This was a great conversation.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. I loved it. I'm looking forward to learning more throughout these next couple weeks. Carol, you already know, appreciate you. And I know you said you wanted to do more. Don't forget, I'm still down to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
That fundraising game.
For sure.
You know, we were looking to have maybe King versus Hamtramck in the same building.
Yeah. We'll do something.
It would have to be after, because they both have high expectations for this season.
Yes.
So they're definitely not going to want to play a little fun game in the middle of the season, probably.
Right.
It's a little too. It's getting serious out here.
It's serious now.
When does district start, actually?
So the playoffs for the city starts this week. Actually, I think it's
Really?
We have a bye, so ours is Friday, which is senior night for Chauncey. I'm not sure who we play yet, but so this is it. I think the championship is either the 18th or 19th. That's the city championship, the 18th or 19th, and then the state should start probably like it might be a week off, and then you start.
Like the first week of March?
Yep.
Okay.
And then it should be ending by the end of March. You know, the state championship. So you know, I'm hoping to see everybody. I want everybody, you know, to get as far as they can. You know, hopefully we win. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we win.
We were at the King versus Persian game on Saturday to see Theron and Chauncey. Theron was out there doing his thing too. I seen that, but that was great. A couple former Hanley students.
It's making me feel old.
And I was telling my buddy that came with me, I was like, yeah, they're both seniors. He's like, wait a second. He's like, so you've been a teacher for that long where you got kids that are seniors? I was actually, the first year I was teaching, they already graduated. So I was like, so this is like my second wave of students that are now seniors. So.
Right.
But yeah, thank you ladies for being here. Again, this show is available on Oz Media's YouTube page if you want to watch it later. And then you can listen to it as soon as I post it. Give it about an hour. Then you can maybe listen to it on Apple or Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Again, this is episode 23 of the Table Talk podcast. Black woman empowerment was the topic of today. We hope that you all enjoyed it. And feel free to share, like, subscribe. And we will see you all next week. It's going to be coaching up our youth. Okay, coaching up our youth. I have Cass Tech's head baseball coach, Melvin Jackson, as well as Hamtramck's head baseball coach, Dave Farber, is going to be in the building, and they're going to just share their experiences as well. Thank you once again,
so much.
ladies, very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. And for those that are watching, we will see you all next week. Take it easy.
Bye.